Now, if you allow me, I must say hi to all. Uh, I will there will be a like let me give some time and allow me to give me a presentation to you, and then we will discuss. If you have any questions, you can write here in the chat box. I will certainly like to reply to you. Plus, once the video finishes, maybe late in the night or maybe in the early morning, you would like to come out with some of your ideas, right? And that will help me to understand whether was able to transfer my information to you properly or not. And also, I would like you to, develop your engagement skills, because many times we do not understand it, and we keep on doing mistakes and we do not move forward, and we find many activities absurd. But the reality is they are very helpful and important. Okay. So what I'm doing now is I'm coming back to my presentation for today, and let me share, a slide which I have prepared it for you. In fact, I wanted some of you interns to work on it, but it seems there was little time, and some people approached me to work on it, but they got later on got a little disappointed because of time, perhaps. So that happens. That's not a problem. We will talk about it again later. But let me show you a little bit of some information before I, before I talk further. Discussions can happen. And let me start with my presentation first. So you see, this title. It's very simple. I have made it like ants and translators. So what do we learn from these ants? This is a small one, you could see this is small ant here. And I'm referring, you translators, language professionals, teachers to talk about it. Why? Let's understand what is the importance of ant and their network. If you recall, I have talked about these ants here. You could see how many ants are there, and there is a tree here. If you locate at this tree, and this is, a last edge of of a rock, and there is a big gap between this tree and the rock, right? But can you imagine, this is small ant, you know was able to create a bridge, and a group of, and people have used this bridge to cover this gap, and then very smoothly they were able to, cross it and make it to the trees, from this rock to this tree. And there is a big gap. Can you imagine this kind of a gap when there is there, and ants have created bridge there and move forward, and they have conquered the tree. Why I have shown this picture to you is just understand the kind of impossible things which they can do. So don't you feel, we humans, not only for translators but also we humans, should learn out of them. Certainly, lots of you and many of us do appreciate the network of ant, and we feel like certainly doing it. But have you tried to analyze how important their network is, and for how long this network works, and how effective this network is? I will share some very, very promising information about these network, and the research that has been done by, variety of researchers at variety of good universities, including Stanford, Oxford, Harvard, and so on, whatnot, right? And uh, researchers, from Stanford have found that, there is a concept on internet, and that is called TCP. This is called traffic control protocol. means data, or information gets transferred from one point to another point through this protocol. This is what is called traffic control protocol. And we humans have created this protocol very recently, somewhere in 1930s, 40s maximum. It's not a history of more than 50 years of this human engineered protocol, traffic control protocol, we say. And in this traffic control protocol, what is more important is, the acknowledgement from one point to another, from one contact to another. For example, if I transfer a data from India, it will reach to a certain point where this protocol, has a barrier. And from that point, it will get acknowledged by the another protocol and received by that by received by that protocol. So the information from one point travels to another point, and that another point, receives it and acknowledges it and transfers it to another point. So that way, data from one corner to another corner keeps on traveling as long as you are sending it to some destination. And all internet messages, email, or even video conferencing or calls, or even uh, websites, etc. They travel through this uh, transfer traffic control protocol, right? This particular thing is still in its I will say in its very nascent stage, right? So this is what is called acknowledgement of transmission of data packs. Now, can you imagine how old this network is being used, by the same TCP, transfer control protocol network, is being used by ANTS. Imagine this particular network is of information and data sharing is being used by ant for last 130 million years, right? So what is happening is, when ant travel from one point to another, and if some another ant is there, that ant receives data, information from the another ant, and they do not know from where the data has come. So they just, smell that ant, because that ant also releases some chemical. So the data which I'm talking to you is chemical which is being released by the ant to another ant. The ant just receives it and follows it. It does not apply perhaps loss of brain, what to do, what not to do. They only know that I have to follow this path. And once they start following this path, they develop one of the most complex networks of the world, which is being which has not been even deciphered yet by variety of networks, including Google. So can you imagine the kind of colony being made by these ants? Can you imagine the kind of feast they have when they get united? They can plunder colonies, human civilizations as well. I recall when I was in school, I had studied red ants and their story, how dangerous they are. And there are lots of ants, they are very good as well. So can you imagine the kind of havoc they can create, these small ants? I was also going through some information, and that makes, ant more powerful than elephant, which is the one of the biggest mammals of the world, and ant being the smallest one. But ants are more powerful than elephants. There is another load which ants can take, and that is they can take load of more than whatever their weight is by 50 times. And we humans cannot take load of our own weight, means we can take only 50% of whatever weight we have. So this is the importance of these ants. And now tell me whether these ants are really important for translators or not, because it is important for many reasons. The most important reason is the network which they have, the data protocol which they use, the power of they have, you know, all these things are being used by ants uh, to create a kind of network. I have been promoting, the translators networking, language professionals networking, editors networking, linguist networking, professors networking. The reason is, when we network, we share information, we talk to among ourselves, we learn from our peers, we know, what they are doing. Many of those peers who have done very good in their career, they become inspiration for us. So if we continue to be in a community, which we humans are there already, but the reality is we are in a diversified community when we are in the family, or when we are in a system, or when we are in an office. There you find lots of people, variety of people. Everybody does not have a common interest. But when we are talking about common interest, that common interest has to have the professional's interest. So because of that reason only, I try to propagate this network of human beings among our own people, number one. And that brings us to the fact that we must network. And imagine, I had told you before that if you are not networking with own people, if you are not networking with teachers, professors, professionals, businessmen, community, all whatever you learn, earn is useless. Because if we are not able to reach out to people and talk to them, develop personal relations, human relations, gather information, means gather data from there, improve upon in our own self, the whatever learning that we do is certainly useful, but you will not be able to reach out to masses in a large number. And when you are not able to reach out to large number of masses, what happens? Whatever you have learned, the experience that you have, it gets limited to certain point. And there comes the graph that is rising. After certain page, that graph goes down. So in order to keep that graph always in the vertical side, and does not allow it to go down, you have to keep on pushing yourself for networking and seeking information, acknowledging it, moving forward. Seeking information, acknowledging it, moving forward. Now I will give you one important example on networking, you know especially about the business community. There is a concept called cluster of industries. Suppose there is one point, let's say Tata Nagar, where Tata's developed their first automotive company called Tata Group of trucks and buses, Tisco and Telco. So in Tisco, they are developing steel. In Telco, they are developing manufacturing these trucks and buses and chassis, motors. In there, in that particular region, because of steel, because of minerals, because of copper, because of mica and all, Tata Nagar, Jamshedpur has become a hub. There you will find not only Tatas, but also the supplier of Tatas. So there you will find supplier of auto parts, supplier of tires, supplier of blast furnace. There are a variety of people, and they are all interlinked. So this is what is called clustering. So if that particular region is very rich in that particular activity, the government or private investors, they try and develop a cluster. This is what has happened even in England. When in the European industrial revolution has taken place, depending upon their climatic conditions and availability of resources, the clustering has taken place, and industrial development has been sort of even. Unfortunately, in India, that clustering has not happened evenly. You find the clusters in Chennai region, you find in Pune region, you find them in Punjab, somewhere in Ludhiana, Jalandhar, but that you don't find, in other parts of the world, of India. You don't find lots of industries in Orissa. You don't find much industry now in Bengal or, in Uttar Pradesh, etc. There used to, but this clustering thing has decreased. Similarly, if you look at China, they have developed big clusters. So now my fundamentals are, when India itself is a multilingual nation, when linguists are, there in large number, many may not understand that they are linguists, but in reality, they are a multilingual person. Most of Indians are. So depending upon, the expertise in your linguistic capabilities, when India is rising, and there is rise in consumption of Indian languages as well as foreign languages, don't you feel we need to network and develop our own strength and try to develop like cluster of translator, cluster of language teachers, cluster of localization professionals, cluster of internationalization professionals? Think about it, my friends, and let me know if my concept of talking to you on this ants network brings us to networking in among ourselves, brings us to take examples from abroad, brings us to take examples from within our own system. Think about, other professions, including lawyers, including doctors, chartered accountants, company secretaries, etc., etc. But why not, there is a professional body, which can make a big change. Although we do have Indian Translators Association working in this direction, but a considerable level of achievement has not occurred in this direction. you know so why I'm trying to bring forth time and again this ant network is that, my friends, please take advantage of this network. Now when you are 100 people or 100 plus people, receive data from your friends for your own development, receive information, work on it, do not reject it outrightly. And when you start receiving and cooperating among yourself, there will be a big synergy, my friends. In last year, with cooperation of 100 plus interns, we were able to launch a rubric which has been given to the whole world, and that rubric, we call it Modlingua rubric. When we are using Modlingua rubric, uh, and that rubric has given way for development of your professional self, as well as quality control, as well as time management. It has reduced the time gap for doing a project in a large amount. It has also helped integrate artificial intelligence like Grammarly in the system. And with using that modeling rubric, you can do wonders, my friend. So for today's take, there are two things, or I will say three things that you must learn about. The first one is about networking. The second one is about translators persona, which I have always been advocating. And third one is Modlingua rubric. So please, go through YouTube channel of Modlingua. Also explore the website of modlingua.com. You will find good information on these three topics. And prepare yourself mentally. I would like to now invite you one by one to be with me on webinars, and prepare yourself and give presentation to your own friends and colleagues, and let's learn from each other, my friend. So that was the idea for today. I wanted to interact with you and say thanks to you all for being here in a very short notice, and uh, being with us, and promote Modlingua and yourself as much as you can. Make use of this opportunity and grow well. So if you have any questions, my friend, now you are free to ask me. I am available for some time on chat, and will respond to all your questions. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to read, your messages from top. I notice there is some person with some number which I could not recognize who this person is. He's saying hello, sir. Sharon is saying good evening. Shruti, good evening. Eko Ojaji, good evening to you. Again, somebody is saying it's raining in Hyderabad. Oh, I understand. Sambhavi, thanks. Good evening, sir. Prerna, good evening. Sharon, again, good evening. Kiku Verma, good evening. Isita, good evening. Garvita, good to hear, Garvita. Premji, okay, I understand your internet is not working. You can refer to our video here. Syed Mohammad Tabrez, good to hear, Tabrez. How are you doing? Rohit Vats, good evening. Girima Sasdeva, good evening again. Dipendu, hello. Jill, how are you doing, my friend? Anjali, good evening. Ankit Rawat, good to hear. Ankit, Ria, good evening. Ombe, be, Bedvi, Ombedi. Sorry for using misspelling your name. Ombedi. Uh, I mean, you are sharing your email ID, etc., exposing yourself with your data. I don't know you understand the importance of your privacy or not, but please don't do it here. This is not done. Urja, good evening. Joao, como va, amigo? Emma, thank you for being with us, Emma. Soumya, good evening. Ruchika, good evening. NK Masi Regis. Okay, Regis, how are you, man? Good to see you. Akash, good evening. Sahina, good evening. Riddhi, good evening again. Omberi, again, you are trying to be smart. Please, we don't allow such smart people here. It's consider this as a warning, or else we will be forced to take you out of the internship. We are not tolerating people who are trying to play smart here. Prachi, good evening. Urja, good evening to you. How to access the rubric? Urja, the best thing is to go to Modlingua channel and write Modlingua rubric. You will find it. But if possible, I will share it today in our WhatsApp group also. Muskan, good evening. Then again, Gopalji, great to see you, Gopalji. Anandita, good evening. Namo, that was great. Thank you, my friend. Shreya, very insightful session. Thank you, Shreya. So if you have any questions, my friend, still I'm available for next 1 minute. We can talk about any questions you have, any doubts you have. If you have any comments, as I told you about ants and you have learned something, thank you, Richard. If you have learned something, please write it in the comment section of this video. And as usual, I have told you before, I will not repeat it again. You are our ambassadors. Try to promote yourself and promote these chat, these messages, these webinars that we always do. Unless and until I tell you to keep it private, because at times we will be doing something, for our own internal usage. Yes, we will talk about rubric later, Samba, and we'll share it, the link as well, right? If you are able to say Google, let's say Modlingua rubric, write it. You will be able to hopefully get some links there, how to use. And we have one article also on our website. I will share that with you, uh, and here to you as well. This is what it is, modeling a rubric. Read. And actor network theory is related to translation. No, Shruti, translation is related to many things. You have to learn to link it. Ashok ji, how will you guarantee me that the kind of cat call that was being used by intern on another intern can be prevented in any of these groups that we are talking about? Will you ensure privacy of these people? Will you ensure data protection? So forget about creating this group here in Modlingua. You use various forums. Those who are active, you can connect with each other. LinkedIn is there, Facebook is there, right? As and when needed, we always work in a group. But I'm not going to promote any forum on WhatsApp because this is of no use, right? So with this friend, my friends, I would like to thank you again. I don't want to waste much of your time. Uh, Half an hour of discussions is sufficient for day. Rest, we can always talk. If you have any comments, you can put a comment there in the comment section once the video gets over and gets settled after some time. It generally gets settled in 2-3 hours. Otherwise, start doing activities in the morning. So till then, my friends, I would like to say goodbye to you all, and uh, try to make use of the time that you are using as an intern, because we have put lots of efforts to put you on board. Now we will be entering into putting your all profiles on our system, and we will have a class on that. We will tell you how to do it. And that's all for the day, my friends. Thanks for your time, and bye bye.